You do damn, Doug.
I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on a new intro music to that. It is Sunday, October the 1st, and this is the TheCrushCast. I, of course, have AphroditesCrush along here with...
I'm Ian. I don't know what else to say,
Ian.
but that's me.
From the TNT podcast.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, I'm surprised. Would always picture you as the person with like some kind of hard rock type of intro, you know. It's kind of
Yeah, but hard rock
shit, you know.
goes for... you know what I mean? And I like kind of keep it that way, so that's why.
Right.
I'm a dance music fan anyway. So, and
Does
when I
Doug
put that
dab?
together, no, I don't dab. No, no way, no. So what's been going on, Ian?
Oh, not much. We did a long TNT podcast this Friday.
Oh hell yes.
We covered a lot of topics.
Yeah.
Doug didn't get too heated this time. I mean, we got through all the Apple stuff, so.
Well, there's not a lot really going on the Apple wise right now. I mean, people complaining about simple stuff, complaining about itty bitty BS, and you know, it happens with every Apple release. It really does. So, I tend not to worry about it too much.
You like the notch people haters.
So, I have a friend of mine who complained that they took the names off the folders today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what the name of my folders are. And I'm like, didn't you put your folders together? I mean, this isn't really this isn't a burning issue. They took the names off the folders. I didn't even notice. I'm like, oh, they took names off the folders. Oh wait, well, I already know it's in the folders, so it's not, not that big of an issue to someone like me. So,
right. Oh yeah, just text Ben. He texts back. Nah, sorry, helping my girlfriend sort her 1,000 plus colored pencils.
So that's what they're calling it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sorting colored pencils. Well, you see, you got to put the midnight blues with the baby blue and the sky blue.
Okay. Now that we're past all that, let's get to the meat and potatoes of today's show. And I'm trying to not let this go over an hour this week. So we're going to dive right in. Right now, we have Nintendo. And everyone knows how much I've been having issues with Nintendo lately.
Right.
Just another go-round. Just another go-round. I mean, recently there was a Nintendo Direct where they were talking about playing up their third-party content. And almost like 80% of the third-party content is older system ports. Like older crap like Skyrim, like old stuff like that. Like old games. Just like stuff that came out originally on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Then I can't remember which freaking game it was. They're talking about a Switch game that you specifically needed a SD card just to be able to run. And then which I think those are trash. You're paying $80 for a freaking emulator. I mean, you get a Raspberry Pi and emulate games that way. And
Right.
most likely get it done better and actually have. They already sell games on the virtual store anyway, which the virtual store for pretty much each and every iteration of their most current consoles is trash because they start from the beginning. Nothing bridges. If you bought it on the Wii, you had to buy it on the Wii U. If you bought it on the Wii U, you had to buy it on the DS. If you bought it on the DS, you had to buy it for the Switch. So you wanted like Super Mario Brothers. Well, guess what? You don't have one username that covers all the systems. It's just get to rebuy it again for all systems. Of course, you had the SNES Mini, and everyone was tripping balls over the fact that one of the games was a $60 game right now because it's rare, or a $120 game because it's rare.
Damn, man.
And I'm like, yeah, the cartridge, the game cartridge, is what's rare. So they're basically basing their purchase of a $80 emulator over a cartridge that's rare. Who knows if the game's trash or not? The cartridge itself is what's rare. Of course, right? So everyone's like, oh, you get all these older. And I'm like, really? And then now, as if Nintendo can't piss us off anymore, Engadget article states YouTube live playthroughs are now a no-no for Nintendo creators. So it says they've updated their creators program's rules to add a new entry. Members can no longer broadcast on YouTube Live. Okay, so here's the thing with that. YouTube, and we discussed this the other night on your show. YouTube, you get like I'm pretty sure it's like a 60-40 split. You get 60%, YouTube gets 40%. Nintendo wants you, the content creator, to sign up for their creators program, to which they take more of your 60% and give you the leftovers. Not to mention, of course, the fact of, oh, well, now you can do almost anything you want with Nintendo games. Which some people, that's the lifeblood of their channel.
Yeah.
What is wrong with Nintendo that they create false scarcity for their products? They lock people into a creators program that's basically garbage. They want more of your money to pay for different console versions of games. And now they're cutting off their ability to make money by cutting off at least half of their creators program creators from making money. What is wrong with this company? And
well, my question is like, what? So, like, they're a program with their creators program. They work with YouTube or something, or
no. See, here's what they do. Well, here's what Nintendo does, and it just might happen with this video because I tagged Nintendo in it. They go through and they mass flag videos. People that even take like 5 seconds of Nintendo content, whether it's actually applied via fair use or not, they flag it. They flagged commenters' videos for people even mentioning Nintendo's name. And I'm putting this out there right now, since it's on my channel. I'm telling you right now, Nintendo, you flag my video, you DMCA my video, I will meet you in court. I will meet you in court. I swear. I swear I will see you in court if you flag my videos. I will take it as far as I need to. Straight up, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, just mentioning that shit.
Oh, yeah. If you talk about Nintendo, certain Nintendo bots will flag you for it. If you mention the name Nintendo, we want that money. That's our money.
Want your money.
I want your money. I want crude oil. This is the government's money.
Well, it's just like,
Anyway.
what happens though if the game is too violent and YouTube doesn't monetize it? Like, what's their cut of nothing though? Nobody's gonna get nothing then.
Because if Nintendo is going to start like if you can't live stream a lot of your games, if you have a live stream schedule like a lot of like people like PewDiePie like to do, they say, you know what, we just give up, we're done. This company cannot help but to trip on itself over and over again and then come up with reasons to why it's good for the consumer and good for the creator, even though it's BS, and they know it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually take a look at Jim Sterling, I throw that name in the ring a lot because Jim Sterling is one of the best examples of been screwed around by Nintendo. He's actually used Nintendo's product at their use in a transformative work, which is the definition of fair use. Okay, and right. Nintendo flag every time because Sterling does not run the Jimquisition, which is basically his main series that he has on his YouTube channel. He doesn't do the Jimquisition with that. All of his money he gets from Patreon. So pretty much any time Jim Sterling does a video on Nintendo, he does this called the copyright deadlock. And what that is that he takes so many IPs and violates the IPs intentionally in order to basically bottleneck this gets paid. And his video stays ad free. So I highly suggest you actually go to Jim Sterling's. If you guys are out there watching, I highly suggest you go to Jim Sterling's YouTube page, look up the Coplock video, just to see Jim Sterling dance with love. That's hilarious. He's got a couple of videos on Nintendo's creators program. He's probably gonna do Jimquisition on this at some point, but it's just to the point now. He did an entire video about how Nintendo doesn't respect fair use law. Nintendo will go out of its way to screw us because they see copyright as a one-way street.
Yeah.
It pisses me off so bad because like I've been saying for years about how Nintendo needs to get its damn act together, and they just can't. They can't help but to screw with us and screw with us and screw with us over and over and over again. It just sucks that they can't be bothered. I get the issue is that they can't be bothered to actually think of the regular YouTube user.
Yeah. Well, it's surprising too because you think Nintendo, out of the three makers, you think Nintendo would have been, like the most fun, I guess, and like open kind of thing versus like Microsoft, which is more of a serious company, I guess,
Yep. And it's just to this point now, it's basically Nintendo trying to drop that lockdown on users, because you know what, this honestly screams of desperation. Nintendo's been trying to hype up about how the Nintendo Switch has been sold out everywhere and how this is sold out and that's sold out. But you know what? If you create 50,000 Switch units and dole them out to individual parties and whatnot, of course you're going to claim that it's sold out everywhere because you didn't make enough.
Yeah, it's like, the fact is, I sold out of my 10 units.
Yeah. They did it with the Amiibos. They did it with the SNES, the Nintendo Classic Mini. NES Classic. They did it with the SNES Mini. And I have no doubt whatsoever that they did it with the Switch. You know, you look at a company that has a track record, it's hard to not expect the same track record. And to be quite honest, I even have heard of GameStops and Walmarts and Best Buys having overstock of Switches, not to mention the fact that just a couple weeks ago, there's a report going out that I think it was a ThinkGeek that goes through GameStop, had Switch bundles and NES Classic mini bundles.
Really?
And these people out here are just like, oh, no, give me more. I have to have it. Well, guess what? You're being fed BS. You're being fed the same damn excuse over and over again. We'll make more. There's more coming. Well, guess what? You're being fed the same thing every 3 to 6 months, and you're being fed essentially the same plate of crap. I don't get how people take this, number one, and buy of a product like the Switch that is old and underpowered. Let's just be honest. You could talk all the crap you want about this system, but until I see it run anything decently, and I mean anything recent decently, you cannot tell, it's as powerful as an Xbox One. Bullshit.
Yeah, you can't have something that you take on a tablet be as powerful as an Xbox or a PlayStation, you know?
Yeah.
Just doesn't work like that.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. Nintendo's third party.
But it's just like Nintendo is just disappointing you on every level when it comes down to the games, how they run their business, with, like how they go after people on YouTube,
Yep.
Nintendo used to be the king too. Back in the 90s.
I grew up with Nintendo.
Sad.
I grew up with Nintendo and I grew up with Sega. And Nintendo used to be like the company that you always went to because you knew they had the games. You always knew they had the games. It's sad. It's really sad.
I wonder how much Nintendo was making back in the 90s. They had to be up there with Bill Gates or something, man.
Yeah. All right, you ready for this?
Bring it on.
Upcoming games with confirmed release dates. Okay? Confirmed release dates. Battle Chasers Night War, Axiom Verge, Cinemora EX, Yono and the Celestial Elephants, Fire Emblem Warriors, Siberia, Super Mario Odyssey, Sonic Forces, Snipper Clips Plus, L.A. Noire, L.A. Noire, really? Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Rime, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Lost Sphere. Okay? And that right there is the confirmed release games. Of those games, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, but 12, 13, 14. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3 of those at least are Nintendo games. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 of the 15 are first party. So you have 12 left. Then you go older games. Knock off L.A. Noire, Elder Scrolls, and Resident Evil. That's 9 games coming out this year that you might be interested in that isn't already made by Nintendo or being thrashed out by a third party trying to make a quick buck off of people that are like, I want to play Skyrim on the go. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah. Does your brother like Nintendo?
He's an Xbox guy. Guy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't all those other third-party games, like the Sonic and all those others, like they just end up really sucking at a Nintendo, man?
Because nobody wants to mess around with a system that You know, and that's really it. You know, it's and people are like, and this is from May 12th. The Nintendo Switch is becoming too beloved for third parties to ignore. May 12th from Forbes. Really? Yeah. There is a reason why Nintendo has not been able to get off the ground in the past couple of console cycles. You know?
But Doug, you can take the Joy-Cons off the sides, and they have a red and blue color.
That is so stupid. So stupid. So stupid, in fact, that, you know, when it launched, half the damn controllers didn't work correctly. So stupid, in fact. So stupid, in fact, that the simple fact that you are lugging around something that they call portable is supposed to be this uber portable machine, but the damn thing looks about the size of an iPad, and not very many people call an iPad portable. Not even an iPad mini is ultra portable. And they're like, oh, well, you can play the Switch on the go. It's a new portable. Like, people were complaining that the PlayStation Vita was too large and too clunky, but you got the damn Nintendo Switch. It's twice the size, and you're telling me that that's ultra portable and super awesome? Don't give me that shit, you know?
Yeah, but the Joy-Cons are so awesome that they don't even need to include a charger for them. Didn't you have to buy like a separate charger or some shit for that?
Giving Nintendo passes on that they don't give any other company passes on, even though other companies like PlayStation made a better product. The Vita had some of the best third party as far as independent gamers support goes. Not to mention the fact that there were certain PSP titles and PSP minis, PlayStation Mini titles, and some PS2 titles that you can download on the Vita. So your game backlog that you can play through is freaking huge. But you're telling me that the Switch that has probably less than for the Vita, somehow the Switch is superior? This does not equate. This does not work. It just doesn't. No. It is just really sad that people are so willing to, Nintendo punch yourself in the face. Well, that's only because they tripped. Yeah.
If you were the head of Nintendo, what, like back in the like late '90s and early 2000s, what would you have decided the direction you should have gone with the company? Because I mean, they definitely slipped up early on.
Stick completely 100% to the portable market, and just keep refreshing the DS lines.
Yeah, but they were doing really good with their consoles, though. I mean,
well,
shouldn't they have done something with those?
The 64 started to drop off as far as popularity went. Then the GameCube came out, and it sold decently, but it still was dropping off as far as sales go, and as far as consumer interest went. So when it went from the GameCube to the Wii, and then the Wii was like, oh, this is fantastic for the first 2 years, and then they were found out. Then everybody who had a Wii, who had wanted a Wii, had a Wii, and no longer had interest in it because there was nothing there. There was like less, not even 5% of the games that were released for that system were even close to being a decent game. And not to mention the fact that the gimmicks that they placed forth with the Wii, it killed it. It absolutely killed it. Gamers want to play games. Okay? Gamers want to do gamer things. Gamers don't want to have to sit around and try to fumble around with a freaking emote and try not to take out their screen or a window in their house while they're trying to play a video game. That's just the way it is.
Oh, you're talking about aren't gamers old women that wants to like jog at like a mile per hour with their Wii and
No.
do some yoga?
Yeah. So, I mean, if I was a Nintendo executive and I knew what was coming down the pipeline, I would have shut it all down, because that business model was not and is not sustainable either for consumer growth or software growth. Because how many game companies took all the mechanics that barely worked to begin with and even trashed them even further with games that were broken and weren't properly developed? Same thing with the Wii U. The only thing they did with the Wii U is the Wii U was essentially a large DS that
Right.
barely functioned.
Well,
And now with the Switch, they want to go for the tablet market, and oh my goodness, it's a touchscreen that you can plug into your TV, and I'm like, come on, this
how
is
good
still not,
how good do you think they would have done though if they would have decided to, like do the console thing, but stuck with like, like a normal type of console, like they seemed like they were doing with the 64 and the Super Nintendo and stuff, where they had like, decent controllers, and they focused on like specs as far as the console goes, like make it faster and stuff to try to compete with the other systems.
really Nintendo's biggest. Always has been focused on there being like the odd company.
Yeah.
When the first PlayStation came out, they doubled down on cartridge games. And then when they finally went to a disc-based game, that nobody used those. And not to mention the fact that the GameCube came out, I think it was around that same time, was I think it was a Dreamcast. I probably looked that up just to get my dates right. I might be wrong. But Nintendo wanted to continue to be the leader in video games, but wanted to have the market cornered on being a very specific market. They wanted to be different. They were testing new items, and these types of things just don't work for a company like Nintendo. And people are still somewhat funneling money into this company that is still making these mistakes. Not to mention the fact that with the biggest thing with the GameCube and the Wii, and also the Wii U, but I think it fixed in the Wii U actually, was the fact that the GameCube and the Wii didn't play DVDs at all. I think you needed a hack to even unlock it on the Wii. So when you take these factors, gaming, as it pertains to the PS2 and then to the PS3 and 360 and the original Xbox as well, you were getting more into home entertainment instead of just video games. And Nintendo was just so focused on being different and having a different format and staying on their personal little course. They can't be surprised when you're basically cutting off your legs before you start the race.
Right.
And I think they really juked up the Switch because of the fact that tablets, in a way, are already passé. Everyone who has a tablet, wants a tablet, has a tablet. And saying that, oh well, this is a tablet with better gaming and controllers, you can do multiplayer on it. And I'm like, okay, number one, I've never known anybody to want to do multiplayer gaming on a screen that's this big. Back in the day when you're doing multiplayer gaming on a 19-inch screen, we bitched back then. I bitch now, Who in the hell is going to go out in the wild somewhere, take their Switch with them, and do multiplayer Mario Kart? A very small demographic of your people are going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, it's Nintendo is just always like 2 to 3 steps behind of everything. You know, it's sad on one account as far as the people they have in charge that they knew that they can do better.
Oh,
And
definitely.
I have no doubt in my mind that if Nintendo actually wanted to make a decent home console with decent programming, with the decent hardware, decent software, that they could compete with the PS4 and the Xbox One, because they're still getting crushed. There's a reason why Nintendo don't release or tends not to release numbers anymore, because they
Yeah.
know they're getting destroyed, and they just refuse to change. You know, it. I think it was 2 years ago, right around where they were getting ready to turn down production for the Wii U in favor of. No, they just stopped production of the Wii, and they were working on like lesser and lesser games for the Wii U. And I think it was around the same time. Yeah. Their income, their actual income money before their gross product margin, or the gross product income, was the same as the year before the original NES came out. That should tell you something.
Yeah.
That is like $3-4 million. That ain't good.
No.
You know, and I was like, well, the Switch is turning everything around. The NES Classic and the SNES Mini, you know, like these are all patchwork fixes. But yeah, they have a lot of money sitting in the tank somewhere. They have to be able to survive the type of body blows they've been taking the past couple years. But the fact is, if I can, you know, in
I know that. Who's the owner of Nintendo? He's not doing bad.
was that?
Uh, who's the owner of Nintendo? What's his name again? Keep forgetting it.
Well,
Isn't it
Nintendo
like
was a.
Midori or something?
Well, there's not like a specific owner. I think they're privately owned, but it's like a consortium, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, those people they're not starving. I know that.
Yeah.
But well, who's the guy that
just
did Mario? I thought there was a specific name for him back in the day.
talk about Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah. What happened to him?
I think Miyamoto passed
Really?
last year before. I think I'm not 100%.
Was his
Let me
involvement
look it up.
did that start degreasing a lot too? Maybe that probably helped the downward spiral of Nintendo if he didn't really have much involvement anymore. Kind of like like any company that does that, I guess.
Oh no, Miyamoto is still alive. It was somebody else. Can't remember who it was, but I think it might have been. Oh man, who was it? Holy crap! It's been a while. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Yeah, their total assets were 1.469 trillion yen. The last year, or this past year, 2017, they did 102 billion in profit in yen. It still isn't a whole heck of a lot. You know, it's just let's see if I can find something else on it. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Wah wah wah. Oh, one of the he's a programmer, and he was the former president and chief CEO of Nintendo.
Uh,
Yeah,
what was his name?
Satoru Iwata.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that name.
But was there's a lot of different stuff on it too. It's just a lot of different like items that are going into what's going on with Nintendo right now. Like they just also signed a deal with Universal to make a Universal Nintendo Land in their Universal's Universal Studios theme parks. There's just a lot of stuff right now with that.
Yeah,
I think Nintendo's trying to divest. They're trying to get more cash inflow. You know, making a deal with Universal benefits them very much so commercially, but they need to focus. They need to focus on getting back the core of what makes Nintendo Nintendo, and that's making decent games and not resting on the same, 6 characters laurels, making the same game over and over again, which is what they've been doing with Mario Kart and pretty much every single Super Mario game known to man. You know,
yeah.
Nintendo's been good. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say the problem is though is like Nintendo in itself, kind of like how we're talking about with Apple, is canon in itself with their characters at least be somewhat of a cult because that some people just like the actual characters in the IP themselves. They love like Mario or like Yoshi even more than like some people love their Apple stuff, you know. So
Well,
like
it's not.
they'll always be shit on.
Well, it's not just the fact that they make the same games. To be honest here, it's the fact that they can't seem to scope in and actually think about what's going on with the game. For instance, a couple online programmers made this is on their own, made their own Pokemon game.
Oh, really?
And instead of Nintendo reaching out and saying, "Wow, what a fantastic job you did," no, this is our IP. You need to, pony up some cash and license out the name Pokemon for you to use it. However, how did you do that? Did you reverse engineer it? Would you like to license out the name Pokemon and we'll make it a knockoff, or we'll make it a side run. They could have bought the actual programmers out and say, hey, you did such a good job with this. Come work for us.
Yeah.
We'll do that. But what does Nintendo do? Just shut them down. DMCA, boom. Bullet to the head. All the work they did and all the progress that they made on the project, even though, like I said, not their IP to work with, but instead of Nintendo actually, coming to the forefront saying, we should work with these guys. We should buy what they did. Make it like make it a crowdfunding Pokemon game. Make it something different. Actually make some money off of it and do something inventive. They just shut it down and lock it away.
Right.
Same thing. Somebody, I think it was only like 2 people actually did work on I think it was a Metroid 2 remake. Built everything from scratch. Nintendo did the exact same thing. And people have been waiting for a Metroid 2 remake for ages. And this thing was, from all accounts, perfect. Perfect. No, cease and desist. Don't even work to improve what they have.
Well, that's really the problem. Sad.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, like me and Nate were talking about like a lot of it. a lot of the IP laws around the world need to be changed, because it's like there's a lot of IP that people make where they don't make deal and do good with their own IP as other people could do with their actual IP. Like, for example, like that Mega Man thing that those developers were trying to do with Mega Man. Like these people can make they can make an incredible Mega Man thing.
Yep.
But you just get stonewalled with all that legal shit. And it's unfortunate, because you would think that for the sake of the IP of, like, just, I don't know, man. It would be better for everybody if some IP was just like, like given into better hands, I guess you could say.
And that's the thing too, is Nintendo is just so dead set to just stay the course. Don't divert, don't change, don't do anything. Just make the same game over and over again. Make it into a series. Make the same game. Let's take 4 years and make the same game. And you know what happened the last time they decided to make the same game? I think it was the last Metroid game was trash. The last Star Fox game was trash. And the last Donkey Kong game was about trash. You can only make the same Mario Kart game for so long. You can only make the same Super Smash Brothers game for so long. And you can only keep ripping off the consumer so many times before they finally say, you know what? I'm done with you. And
you think
I got to that.
They aren't invincible, you're saying, that like even the diehard people that just love Mario and Zelda, you think they could even get fed up with it? They'd be like, hey, I'll just go back to my old systems, right?
Well, not only that, it's the fact that those super hardcore people almost did them in, because they saw, oh, well, I sold 2 million copies of this Super Mario World game. Well, you have 4 million Wii U's out. That's not good.
Right.
Everyone's like, well, the Wii U and the Wii are hardcore units now for really hardcore Nintendo gamers, but not even half of your install base buys the games that supposedly the system and the games are made for. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't feed me that crap and expect it to digest well. It's not possible. Nintendo is slowly digging its own grave.
That's true.
And the industry will be poorer for it.
Yeah. I will admit, that the Breath of the Wild does look pretty good, but it's like you can't just depend on one game for your whole console, though, right?
Yeah. That's just it, too, is that these, like Breath of the Wild started as a Wii U game specifically, and then it just got pushed and pushed and pushed. And the game doesn't look that good to begin with. Everyone's like, oh, it looks fantastic, it looks great. Like, no, it doesn't, because now you have an older version running on the Wii U that looks about the same as your Switch version. Like, that's not a good thing. If it looks about the same on the Switch as it does on the Wii U, that means what kind of hardware are you working with, really?
Well, you made the point too, and I agreed with you that the cell shading, they should have just gotten rid of that. They totally could have had, the hardware was probably good enough to make it realistic enough for what the game could be, I guess,
But again, that's what Nintendo does. That's their MO anymore. They're so stuck. They're stuck in their old ways, and they won't change.
Yeah.
They don't want to change. But I guess in the end, they're going to do what they're going to do, and whatever happens to them is whatever happens.
Yeah, that's true. You can't. There's not much else you could do or say about it, I guess.
Yep.
Do you think they will? Is this going to be their last console?
No, no. However, that comes with a caveat. If they intend to replace the 3, yes, it will. There's too many kids out there that will trash a Switch, and that parents will not buy them for them.
Right.
If they intend for the Switch long term to be a replacement for the 3DS, they won't make it another 10 years.
That's probably true.
Yep. So,
I mean, I could definitely see that.
which again it sucks, but I mean you can't expect a company to keep shoveling out old dusty IPs and old dusty units and old dusty ideas and expect them to keep selling and keep selling and keep selling. It's just not going to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, and you do want to see Nintendo do good, you know? Just like you said with Android, with Apple and stuff, you know?
Yeah, because I mean it's the same thing as Apple and Android. In the end, competition is what breeds excellence.
Yeah.
To be quite truthful, that's the way it's just always going to be. It's like it is always going to drive companies to be better and to do better. I mean, PlayStation, feature for feature, console for console, game for game. These two companies have been pushing each other, while Nintendo has just been shuffling behind in pajamas and slippers. That's really the best way to put it. It's like a grandma trying to, a grandma with a cane trying to say, "Oh, Johnny, don't do that. You'll get hurt." And no, while they're jumping up on trees and, swinging on on tire swings in the backyard, while grandma's sitting there shaking the cane saying, "Get off my lawn." It's the truth.
Yeah.
That we're at this point now that people are getting so excited to be able to play Skyrim on a screen that's a tenth of what they were playing Skyrim on 6 years ago. You're telling me a 6-7-year-old game, it makes you excited to buy a Nintendo console. If people are really that excited to play LA Noire on the Nintendo Switch, we need to have a conversation.
Right.
It's, I don't know.
But hey, you could get your amiibos though, Doug.
That is one thing that I absolutely hate. And I'm not even joking. It's...
Why do you hate it so much?
Because it's something that is not needed to enjoy a game. It is something that is just honestly probably the dumbest thing that I'm serious. It's not the word I'm looking for. It's not integral to having a decent gaming experience. Amiibos are already become so hard to get. It's essentially same for scarcity. They're racking in people who are like, "Oh, I gotta have this, I gotta have this, I gotta have this," and what does it do? Less than nothing. Oh my goodness! It's essentially a little statue of DLC. That's all it is. But 90% of those are. And what? It's
They make people want to collect them and shit.
Yeah, it's cheap freaking plastic. It's honestly that big for the most part. A little statue this big, and people pay $70 for one of these. $70, $70, 70. That's a game. That is a game. After tax, it's still not as much as this little damn thing here.
You mean you wouldn't pay a game price for a gold Mario?
Hell no. I wouldn't pay the $12.95 that the freaking book price is on those things. You know? The only reason to buy something like that is the same reason you buy them if you're at like a place like Five Below or you're in a checkout at Walmart. Oh my goodness, this little statue you could put up on a shelf. There you go. That's all that you said it has, and Nintendo trying to shove it down your throat as an integral part of your gaming that you're not getting the whole game if you don't have the amiibos, all 7,500 of them, half of which you can't get on their release because they only release 3 to 5 per freaking outlet, whether it be Amazon or Best Buy or GameStop or Walmart or whoever. You realize when I was doing game releases at Walmart, people would walk in looking for Gold Mario number 75. They only sent me 4, and they went out the door 5 minutes before.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can never get any. Like, you know what? Don't blame the merchant. You blame the people who's actually creating and sending it out because they're making it super popular.
Yeah.
They keep playing these games. It's ridiculous.
Well, like they charge so much money for it, but really it's just a little chip or tag or whatever, NFC tag and then you could just like 3D print out a little statue of plastic and stick that shit on there, you know. And that's what Nate did. He just bought a book of NFC tags. You just scan the book for whatever game that you need, you know. I mean, I could see you paying some money for that. That's not bad, but paying for each little thing it's just ridiculous.
But again, it is what it is. So,
yeah, I bet you probably just get fed up with people asking about Nintendo stuff when you worked at Walmart. You're like, should I get a Nintendo Wii for my grandson?
Well, the entire thing that I've always said too is, what are they looking for? If they're just interested in the Wii because they heard about it from somebody, they need to know what the product is. And the way I've always seen is this: if somebody actually wants a Wii or a Wii U, when I was working at Walmart, if that's what they wanted, they bought one, no problem. But if they were asking questions about the peripherals, about the games, and about everything else, 9 times out of 10, they were surprised to learn that there's almost no freaking games for the console that they were getting ready to buy, and they end up buying an Xbox or a PlayStation instead. I'm a PlayStation guy. I have right in front of me 4 PlayStation consoles.
Right.
I would buy an Xbox console every day than ever buy another Nintendo console. Getting the newest available. I'm getting the best support available because at the very least, I'm still getting the newer games. I'm still getting, features to be able to do what I want to as a gamer with. It's not that hard to push someone towards a PlayStation or an Xbox when little Johnny or Susie is 13 years old and want to play with their friends online. But Nintendo's online is so trash that it can barely even do online play without taxing whatever system it has. Not to mention the fact that with the Switch, you know what you need to act. I think they might have changed this just recently, but you know what you needed at launch for a Switch to do online chat?
What?
Your cell phone. You had to download the Nintendo Switch chat app and run your chat through your phone. How convoluted is that?
That's crazy, man.
Well, it's crazy. It's stupid. It's so stupid. I can't even tell you how stupid it is because it's beneath even the base level of stupidity.
I'm just curious. Like, let's act this out, Doug. Like, I'm like some old lady coming in and be like, "Oh, hi, sir. I'm looking for a video game system. Is this for my grandson? Is this Switch Nintendo thing? Is that any good?"
That depends on what the child's looking for. What kind of games do they play? Or do they play things like Mario Kart? Do they play things like first-person shooters like Call of Duty? No, and that's how that conversation would start.
He plays some racing games.
Racing games? What kind?
Just like, like cars and wacky characters and stuff on top of cars.
Well, that also depends too. If somebody came and was asking about that, I'd probably tell them to go back and ask and see what games they're actually interested in. That way I could tell them if the game that they're looking for is on the system that they're looking at. 9 times out of 10, if somebody was looking for a racing game, they're looking for Need for Speed. They're looking for Forza. They're looking for Gran Turismo. Those are the big three.
Have you straight up told them, do not get this system? This system sucks. Or you're not supposed to say that?
Actually, towards the end of the Wii's life cycle, people would come in looking for them, and then I have to tell them that the Wii is no longer supported. Because we still had Wii's after Death Date. So again, they wanted to get rid of them. But I'm like, well, I'm not going to lie to someone who's getting ready to buy a Wii.
Right.
That is not going to be an ethical quandary for me to say, oh, well, yeah, go ahead, buy the Wii. Have a nice day. Bye. Oh, I'm interested in the Wii. Okay, well, do you know that the Wii is no longer supported? Oh, I didn't know that. Or people coming in, well, I need a Wii. Well, do you want a Wii or Wii U? Do you know the difference? Do you know that the Wii's dead and only the Wii U is getting support now? And then that's how that conversation goes. If somebody was actually interested in the console, I wouldn't dissuade them unless the console is dead, in which case I generally would dissuade them unless they're looking for just a cheap console for a small child. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on, Doug. You're just supposed to, like, get them to open up their wallets. It doesn't matter what it does or doesn't do for them. You're just supposed to peddle them a console. Come on now.
Well, see, here's the thing, and this is one of the reasons why I think my boss at Walmart liked me, because, well, no, you hear me out here. I have had and always will have a simple philosophy as it pertains to being a salesman and working in retail. Something that I believe in to this day. Number one, if you're honest with your customers, they'll come back. Number two, if you actively work to save your customers money, they will come back. Number three, if you are aware of something that may impact their ability to enjoy about it, back again. So even though I might lose a $200, $300 sale, they're going to remember that I told them the truth, and they know that I'm going to tell them the truth in the future.
Yeah.
It's I know so many people. I used to work with a guy at Walmart who just had zero idea what he was doing and would just lie. Needless to say, he didn't last long. I essentially told him, I said, you ever lie to a customer again, I'm reporting you to the management, and I will make sure you don't have a job.
Right.
You're not lying to customers on my watch. Because if that person buys something that this guy lied about, that guy works with me, that makes me look like an idiot. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I will not be made a fool of in my house. And when I was working at Walmart, when I was in that electronics department, that is my house. You don't shit on my carpet in my house. Period.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's not really a need to lie because it just hurts your business. I mean, sure, A console might not be good, but you have B console or B whatever to replace it. You don't have to lie to sell a specific console. You guys have plenty of things there that you could point them to, you know?
Well, that's the thing, though, is that this person just didn't care. He was just there for a paycheck. You know, I'm there because I enjoy electronics. I tell the truth about electronics because I want to put the right device in somebody's hands, even if it's something I don't like. Like, there were people who would come in looking for a phone, not an Apple phone. As much as I'm a big fan of Apple, an Apple phone is not right for everybody. Not everybody has $180 minimum to drop on a phone. They're just looking for a phone that works now. And if it breaks down in a couple weeks, it breaks down and they can get it fixed, or they'll buy a new one, you know? And some people, like working in that sector of retail, they will tell you that's what they're looking for because they view a cell phone as a disposable piece of technology. And,
yes.
You know,
so if somebody comes in asking for a burner phone, you're not going to sell them like the iPhone X.
Exactly. And a lot of people have assumed in the past that I would try to push them towards an iPhone. It's like, no, if they're looking for a $20 phone, I'm going to show them a $20 phone because that's what they want. I never worked on commission, and I've always told people when I was trying to sell a phone because I'm passionate about my technology. I think that's pretty evident by now that they need to. And a lot of people, oh, well, do you work on commission? I'm like, nope, and it's better that way. That way I can actually serve the customer instead of serving my own interests as a salesman.
Well, I think you still would have done pretty good even if you did work on commission.
I probably would have, but I think working for commission in that style of retail problematic. Just for the simple fact of, you know, if I have to jump over the ethical wall to either not make my money for the day or to make double my money for the day, because when you work in commission-based retail, that line is pretty thin. If you stop and really be honest about it, you know, there's some people, they're on the line. They're on the line between spending $50 and spending $250.
Really, I did have a question. Like, how many people? Because you figure nowadays with the internet and everything, you would figure that when people go into a store, they know exactly the price that they want to spend and what the actual product that they want to get. Or do you think, like you said, there's still a lot of people that kind of teeter or like, yeah, I'll go either way?
Yeah. There's a lot of people who still teeter because even though they have an idea of how much they want to spend in their heads, they still, best word to use, they're still uneasy about the products that they're spending the money on. For instance, if someone comes in and they're like, well, I want to get into the tablet market, but I have a maximum that I want to spend, and this is what I do with it. So like someone comes in and says, I have $250 to spend on a tablet. What's the best value? That's about around what I normally get for someone who's coming in for like their first tablet, for instance. So I ask them, okay, what do you do? How much do you think you're going to use it for? And the one question that nobody ever asks, and it always kind of burns me up when people don't ask this question, is what do you think you're going to use it for in the future? Everyone's about now. You're going to do it now.
Right.
I see it in my head as you're making an investment, whether it does last 2 years or 1 year or even 6 months. If you're buying a product and you're spending X amount of dollars, at least in some form or fashion, you have even an inkling of a long-term plan for the product that you're buying. So, like when I first thought about getting an Apple Watch, when I was first on my radar of something I might be interested in picking up, I first thought, what am I going to do with it now? What am I going to do with it in 6 months? Above a year, most likely. Will this last? Does it seem like a product that I'm going to burn through and just get sick of really quick? Can I effectively wear a watch, even though most of my life I haven't? It's that I would ask the customer to make sure that they're getting the right thing for them. And some people are just like, oh, I need it for the kids, so I need like a $40 tablet. It'll probably break in 3 months anyway. Okay, here's your $40 tablet. Have a nice day. But if someone says, well, I'm buying it for my son. He's 18 years old, and he's into a little bit of gaming, but he likes to watch a lot of YouTube, and he's not really sure what he wants to do with it yet. Okay, what's your budget? $250. Here are your options. And here is the difference between those 4 or 5 options that you have.
Yeah.
It's those type of questions that when I was working in that space of retail, you have to ask, in my opinion. In my opinion, I used to have people say, well, you take too long with customers. Well, there's no such thing as too long with customers, because a happy customer, you can either make $50 and piss off that customer right there, and they'll never come back, and they'll tell all their friends that they're never coming back to the store again. And fuck this store, and no, I will never go back there again. Or you can make $50 with this customer who's super happy with what they bought. They want to come back and buy another $300, $400 worth of product from you, specifically because you actually answered their questions and didn't treat them like they're nothing more than a number in your day.
Yeah, you're good with thinking long term.
Yeah, I'm a long-term guy. In that space of retail, you have to be a long-term guy, because if you don't create those type of relationships, even just on a customer to salesman level, you won't win, because eventually you're going to run out of people to piss off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true.
And that's the way I've always seen, work in the retail is like, what you have, there's only so many people who live in your city. And if you keep pissing off a friend of somebody and a friend of somebody, eventually it's going to start going and going and going. Case in point, I used to work for AT&T, and they did a survey. And the survey basically said, when you're happy and when you're not happy with customers, a happy customer will tell 10 people gleefully that they don't like company X. But a happy customer will only tell 5. So you're basically working twice as hard to reach the exact same number of people that you've pissed off. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So that's the way I've always seen it. I mean, obviously, you can't make every customer happy. You can't please every customer 100%. But you could do your damnedest to do so. Always. Every single time. When you're on that clock, you're on somebody else's time. You're not on your time anymore.
Well, it's good that you did that, and some people there at Walmart do still do that, because like a lot of stores, they kind of just keep it on a shelf and you take whatever you take, Yeah.
And I there are some stores I won't shop anymore because, and most stores in this area who used to do the number and go, or if they don't even think they're going to make money off you, they ignore you. That pisses me off to no end. The H.H. Gregg here in our area used to do that a lot. And that's the reason why they closed down. Because anybody who walked through that door, if you didn't look like you had money, you didn't get help.
Yeah. Well, what was that wasn't it me and you that were kind of arguing with Frank about would it be good or bad if there was no humans left in stores, Yeah,
it'd be horrible. Yeah, that absolutely be terrible. Yeah. Because, there's a human interaction and information that you need to get from a human to be able to effectively make a customer happy in some computing system with buttons does not make the customer happy in the long term. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to, I myself I like to compare stores and stuff online. And if it's cheaper at like a Walmart or like a Micro Center, I just go into the store and specifically buy that model number. But I mean, not everybody's like that. You know, some people like to go in and compare and see with their eyes and stuff, everything, you know?
Yep.
And you need to have a third second opinion or whatever, and that's when a human does come in handy.
And it's just unfortunate that most people seem to see that as a detriment instead of, you know, a pleasure to how they shop.
Yeah. Like,
and so many people waste their money when they don't need to.
true.
People who don't care or computer system. They've shown they don't care. And they are the poorer for it.
Yep. I mean, I even just like when they, like, you go through the line with a human versus checking out with those robots, they actually ask you, hey, did you find everything okay? I mean, it's just like the couple questions like that is just, it's helpful, you know?
Like, well, one thing I think is hilarious is, let's say I'm helping out a customer at the store I work at now. I can't tell you how many times, like, I'll get done talking to the customer because I crack jokes and I'm a joker when it comes to my job, just because I like to have fun. That's the way I am. I can't tell you how many times I'll be like, you know that guy? Nope. It's like that type of attitude rubs off. You know, if someone's happy in your store, if someone's happy when they're buying something and getting the information they need while actually, you know, instead of having the, yeah, this has a dual core processor and it has a capacitive touchscreen and it's an okay value. You know, it's a fairly good seller. Oh yeah, like what you trying to do with it? Oh, like I don't talk to customers like I'm a salesperson. I talk to customers like I'm their friend. Because to me, if I was going to go buy something, I wasn't going to go buy something from somebody who acts like a robot, talks like a robot, and just generally is all blasé about their job. You know?
Yeah.
If I'm going to buy something from someone, I want them to be invested in selling the product. Not because they're a salesperson, but because they're interested in giving the best value as a salesperson. You know, I want somebody to tell me the truth. You know, there are some game stores I won't shop at, or some people who work at game stores I won't shop with, because I know I'm going to get fed a line. And if I get fed a line, I'll never come back. If I get ignored, I'll never go back. If I feel like I'll never go back. I went to a Dick's Sporting Goods store last year. The last time I went to a Dick's Sporting Goods store, I said, "You guys have any Manchester United T-shirts?" This woman got on the her walkie and said, "Do we have any international soccer team shirts?" Like bitch, that's not what I asked you. I said, and then I'm like, okay, well, you don't have Manchester United. You have Columbus Crew. She's like, "Who's that?" You work in a sports store. You work in a sports store. We live 45 minutes away from Columbus, and you don't know who the Columbus Crew are? Not to mention the fact that you got ESPN on your TV screens, you got ESPN blaring through your radio system 24 hours a day, and you don't know who these teams are? Come on, you know. It's that type of just blasé mentality that just fucking you know. Like, take some pride in your job. Take some pride in what you're trying to do. Don't treat a job as this trudging, walking through snow barefoot type of experience. If you're there, if you applied, and the thing is, you're there willingly. If you applied for a job, get to know some shit,
Yeah.
I will never go back into it. I've been treated as close, or if not just like that.
One thing I hate that, like, I've had happen at, like, the Marks by me here too, is like, I'm trying to think of what I was asking for. Like, I think I was trying to ask them if they had like some like a hammer there or something, because they had like a tools aisle. And I asked the lady at the front, and she said, "Oh, we don't carry that here." And then I was like, "Are you sure?" She said, "Oh yeah." And then I went back there, and then they totally had it.
Like seriously,
like she didn't even bother to check or nothing. I mean, it's like
that pisses me off. There are people who just let's get out of my store. If I get out of your store, not only am I not coming back, I'm going to make sure a bunch of people don't come in at all.
right.
That right there is a good way to lose not just one but many customers, and so many people who work in retail don't realize that. I hate giving bad news, but I try to give the bad news in a way that if we don't carry something, then there's nothing I can do. Or if there's something I can do, I give you the options. If I give you an answer you don't like, I try to give you at least a different answer and not try to piss you off. It's these things that people just don't understand on how to correctly work in retail. And it's really sad that people still, after 30, 40 years, young people who are being taught by older people still don't know how to correctly work retail. I know people in their 50s and 60s who don't know how to work retail. And I'm like, why don't you get this? This is not hard. This is not rocket science. This isn't science at all. This is simple common sense. Like, treat others the way you would want to be treated if you were in their position. You may hate your job, but you don't have to take it out on the person who's essentially paying your paycheck.
Well, some people make better car salesmen, like snaky car salesmen, than they do like general retail, because they're good with just getting people to pay money.
I could do that too, but like I don't get how people get satisfaction out of ripping people off. I don't get it. I mean, I have been on my way out the door, done with my work for the day, getting ready to clock out, going towards the time clock. One person stops me, and I'm still on the clock, so I'm there for 20 minutes. That's the way it's always been for me.
Yeah. It's a good work ethic, man.
It's not this, turn on, turn off the retail switch. I work in retail. I know what I know, and I do my best every single time I have on the uniform. I don't get how people don't do that for themselves. I just don't.
Yeah. Another thing too is, if you don't like a story, you'd be like, "Dude, I got lots of friends and I got lots of viewers on a podcast," so I'd be like, don't go to this store,
My entire thing about it too is like, I could be rich. I mean, how many rich people have you seen walking around scraggly as all hell? Because they can do what they want. They can do exactly what they want. Like, you treat everybody the same because everybody is the same, not because of how they dress or how they look. You treat everybody the same, period. I don't care if you look like you just came off the street, you just got off work, or you just walked out of a Porsche with brand new shoes and a suit. You get treated the same. Matter of fact, I just helped out someone who was in my position, famous movie star. he's treated the same as everybody else because
Really?
he deserves to be treated the same as everybody else.
Oh, come on. You didn't give out any discounts to any hotties or anything?
No, that's not what it's about. It's about serving the customer the best that you can, no matter what. The person who spends $1 is the same as the person who spends 1,000.
Well, I mean,
And
do you think you could work in a type of retail where you're able to haggle and stuff?
if I was working in a haggling type of situation, I don't know how it would be like that. To be honest with you, just because it's a different style of retail. That's you're going from set price to profit margin, and you're still trying to make a profit margin for your store. So I don't know how I would do in a situation like that in particular. So
I think we
I
haggled with the manager at Best Buy once because we were paying a lot for these TVs and stuff.
That I don't know. I've never really tried to be honest with you.
I think some stores they will sometimes, depending on the situation, but most people just don't even try, I guess. But
that's a weird style of retail, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So,
but
no idea, bro.
You do sound like you definitely have a very good work ethic and everything. You do your job 100%. Like even I bet you even were the same when you Did you ever have a job where you just had to sweep stuff up with the broom or whatever, or mopping the floor? Or...
I haven't had a job like that in ever. Actually, it's I went from I literally went from working in food service. I worked at Burger King for a couple of months, and most of my jobs have either been retail or retail or factory. No, I like retail a little bit more just because I like product. It's just the way I am.
Should I get the Whopperito, Doug? Or should I get the chicken patty? You won't eat like Burger King anymore, huh?
Every once in a while, I will. But I have my own personal standards when it comes to Burger King. That's for sure. Personal standards, man. But I've always worked in up until my most recent retail job, when I'm working now. Most of my retail was in entertainment. I worked at a Hollywood Video for a while. I worked at a FYE for a hot minute, for a year. I did.
How was that?
That was fantastic. One of my favorite spots. Oh yeah, I'm in. I am in. I did a year working for a hotel, which was fun. Got to meet a lot of people doing that. But yeah, a lot of factory work, but mostly retail. I've been in retail for most of my life.
Why'd you leave FYE if it was pretty good? If I get
so more or less, too personal. I needed a full-time position, not a part-time.
Oh, okay.
Money, full-time and money. That's really the big reason why I left.
Okay. Yeah, the mall space malls don't pay very well, do they?
It depends what store and what position you have. To be honest with you, it does depend. It really does.
Like those women's clothing stores and stuff, like the really fancy ones, you think they pay well? Like the Victoria's Secret or something?
I've heard that they do for the management positions.
Okay.
If you're working on hang the clothes and whatnot, you're still getting paid minimum for the most part. So,
but anyways, Doug, I was gonna ask, did you want to check out a couple of battle stations again on this episode? I have this really crazy one right here. You should check this one out here.
yeah, let's check out a couple before we roll out for the night because it's almost 1 o'clock. So,
Right.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on here. I will admit this one's weird, but
It is.
it's not okay. It's not horrible. Okay, the thing is with this though is that man, I think we have to disqualify the everything else that's in there because it's you have to focus on the units themselves. So the desk, the computer, the TV, and the sub monitors on the sides.
Yeah, I do like the symmetry of it though. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Oops. I'm not sure what kind of computer he has, but
I could do that though. The room needs an overhaul. Like all the crap that's on the ceilings and the wall. Yeah, let's not do that. But everything else is pretty cool.
You know, like the old like rustic like pipes and stuff. Look.
Yeah, no, just no. No. EXO
Okay.
on that.
What about this one here? It's really basic.
Oh man, stand us for apples.
Huh? What'd you say? Hello? Uh-oh. Frozen. Hello? Let me try reconnecting to this. Oh, I'll be back. Hello?